So we'll start with introduction to SAP methodology today. Okay. So I'm skipping these things like what is SAP and what's its background. Do you want me to go with this little introduction?
Is the other student joining us?
No, he didn't turn up today. Actually, he was in Bangalore for an interview.
Okay.
So most probably he'll be coming tomorrow or sometime.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So you want me to directly jump into the SAP methodology, or you want me to take some brief on this? What is SAP, like these things?
We can go into ASAP methodology.
Okay. Architecture. Like I would like to discuss something on this landscape.
Okay.
You're familiar with landscape?
Yeah, I know that there are clients, key clients,
Yeah.
this where when
Testing, quality.
unit testing and
Correct.
quality and then production.
Okay. But actually what happens is in the real time you'll be expecting some questions, and if interviewer want to test you really you worked in real time or not, this is where he can test you, and he can test your presence of mind also here. Okay, like I'll tell you how a small brief, just 2 or 3 minutes will take. Okay. See, SAP landscape has these 3 servers. Like SAP suggests to go for minimum 3 servers. One is development, and one is test, and one is production. Test is called as quality and assurance QA. You can see here. Okay. In this server again we will have a client. Okay. That can be a configuration client, development client, and unit testing. In the same way here we will have an integration testing, that is testing client, and production, or somewhere around we will have pre-production also in the production server. But here what major thing a interviewer want to test you something is what is a client. Okay. Have you seen ever a golden client? Do you know what is a golden client?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Have you seen ever a golden client?
Yes, I've seen a golden client. It is where there is only the configuration is there. There's no data.
Yes. There would be no single data. It is a plain vanilla system. What basis people will do is, like golden client series always starts with 0. Okay. They'll copy the golden client and make a client, like it can be a configuration client, it can be a unit testing or anything. Okay. Any client is copied from 000, that is golden client, and they will make a new client that can be 101. This is for config. Please excuse me with my handwriting.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. It's so that's one thing.
And what about the customizing for the particular client? It would exist in the golden client, right?
No, no. We will not touch golden client. It remains as it is, as SAP delivered.
Oh, okay. I thought it had the configuration of the client.
No, no, it will not have anything. Like whatever SAP is delivered, we will not even put a dot in that.
Okay.
Okay, it is as it is, vanilla, what SAP has delivered, but we'll basis team will copy this and create clients depending upon the company strategy, how they want the numbering. Suppose say 101 for config, and 102 for unit testing, and say 103 for sandbox.
Yeah.
Okay. And 800 series is always reserved for training purpose, that is IDES. Okay. So 000 series is config. Like I'll show you an example of golden client and what makes the difference of other clients. Just show you a simple example. Now we are in 800 client. This is training client IDES. Okay. So
This is just the same as golden client in the sense that it has got some data.
yes, yes. See, now I will log in into golden client, that is 000. Okay. Okay, can you see here the client number here? The client is 000, and here the client is 800. Okay, so a simple example, suppose say if I want to have a list of all the customers who are existing in US. Okay, I want to just check. So I'm on, opening the customer master centrally in change mode. And you'll be facing some interview questions in interview, let's say what is a client. Why? Because in general terminology, what is a client?
Client is a set of tables that which meet certain requirements.
Yes, that is in SAP. In generally, we call customers as clients. Okay, so if you don't, like say if we are in like interview want to test whether we work in real time or not, if you ask this question, we will be confusing like what he's asking about. Suppose say where is your client located? Okay, see, what happens is, like first we will just start this. I want to have a list of customers who are residing in US. Okay, so I'm searching by country US. So let it open, we will go here. See, what happens is why he asked this question is he want to test your presence of mind, whether what your thinking is. Like say if you really worked in SAP, you will say that it's a self-contained unit which has its own master data and tables. But if a guy who didn't work real time, he will be confusing whether client means it's a customer, that is his company where he worked, or the where he implemented SAP, or it's a system. Okay, but interviewer always want to know SAP system. He didn't bother about your customer who implemented SAP. Okay, that's like one thing. And they may be asking you where is your client located. Okay, that means as we are a consultants, our client will be always located in development server. Okay, configuration client, that is. Consultants will not have access to production server, and the end users will not have access to development client. Okay, so in that way, like if they ask like where is your client located, that is in development server. And you can face some other question like say what all clients you have in your development server. The basic clients which we have in development server is, one is configuration client, one is unit testing, and one would be sandbox. These are minimum like which we have in a development server. Okay, so let me check this. See what system is saying, no values found. Okay, like I have searched for the client list in US and system says no values found. This is in golden client, that's 000. Okay, now the same thing, let's check this. See, the now same thing I will test in 800 client. And sometimes they will be asking you what kind of master data you maintain your development server. Okay, but can you maintain the master data in development server?
Well, you have to do unit testing somewhere, so
Okay,
you have to have some data for that, right?
yes, but where we do that?
you see this pipeline, it's just a dev server, but it's a different client.
Yeah, see, configuration client, that where consultants are going to work, will not have any master data, and we are not supposed to maintain any master data. This is only for configurations. If we want to do any testing or any R&D in the sandbox, what we will do is we will import the configurations to the unit testing or a sandbox, and we will maintain master data here, but not in the configuration client. So if they ask like what master data you maintain in configuration client, you should say like no master data you maintain in configuration client.
Okay, but so moving from client to client, that's not considered a transfer.
No, this is import. Okay, basis guy will do the transport, that is nothing but from server to server.
That is SCC1, right?
No, this is SMTS. SCC1 is import. SCC1 is import. Okay. SMTS or STMS is that is to transport. Okay. So SCC1 is used by consultants to import from one client to other client. And here we don't have, we need not to talk to basis guy. But for transport, we need to list out all the tasks in a Excel, and we need to send it to the basis guy so that he will transport from one environment to other environment.
All the TRs and the SQL package jobs, right?
Yes. See, here in the 800 client, it has pulled a lot of data. Yes, it is. In golden client, it says no values found, but in 800 client, it has pulled a lot of data of a customer who resides in US. So in golden client, we will not have any kind of data. It's a vanilla system which SAP is delivered. We will copy that and make new clients. That's actually a basis job, but it's good to have some understanding. Okay, and say like as we are importing here, there will be sometimes. Do you know what you mean by cross client or client independent?
Yeah.
Okay, and in SD we have some client independent configurations.
Right.
Okay, do you remember what is that?
When you change the access sequence, it tells you that it is cross client.
Yeah, condition table and access sequence are cross client. Like when you type the code itself, it says the table is cross client. I want to say, I want to do that.
Right.
So these requests are stored in workbench requests. Generally, whatever the configurations a consultant do, it will be stored in configuration requests. But see here, the table is cross client. So if we do any changes in one client, suppose we update access sequence in this client, suppose say in configuration client, it will be updated automatically without importing into sandbox. Or all the things like how many clients are existing in this particular server, in that particular server it will be updated.
Right.
Okay. So this is one thing about the environment. Moving on to SAP methodology, see how a project comes into a company, whether it's a implementation project or support project or whatever it is. Okay. Every company will have a BDMs. So what these BDMs will be doing is they will be having some prospects list of customers. Okay. So the prospect list can be the customers who already implemented SAP or who till now they haven't implemented SAP. Okay, so who already implemented SAP or prospects for a support project. and who till now has not implemented SAP, they are prospects for implementation project. So different companies will, suppose throughout the training we will be discussing about Galaxy Pharmaceuticals as a client to which we will be implementing SAP as a model. So IBM, Accenture, Capgemini, all the BDMs from these companies would be approaching this company to convince them to implement SAP as they are using some legacy system. Okay. So after all the presentations and everything, if the Galaxy Pharma is convinced, they will ask for a quote. So when they ask for a quote, in SAP actually we cannot give a quote as it like as they ask. Why? Because we don't know how many plants they have, we don't know how many users they have, we don't know in how many countries they are doing operations. Okay. So what BDM will do is he will send the pre-sales team to assess all these things. Okay. So after assessing like how many, they will be talking to the concerned person and they will know how many plants they have, depots, configurations, what kind of materials they sell, and what type of business they are into, and what businesses process they use. After everything, what happens is like they will send a quote, okay, or an RFP. Okay. So once Galaxy Pharmaceutical is convinced, suppose Galaxy Pharmaceuticals is convinced with IBM quote. Okay. So they will be handovering the project to IBM team. Then where IBM will start SAP methodology. That the first phase of SAP methodology, and that would be the first phase of starting the project. So in SAP methodology we have 5 phases. One is project preparation phase, one is blueprint phase, and one is realization, and one is go live and support. Okay. So as a consultant, you will be involving only in blueprint phase and will not involve in project preparation phase. Okay. Only the team, I will mention the team. See, in project preparation phase, only the team from implementation partner and the client. So from implementation partner, the BDM, delivery head, technical experts, and project manager would be involved. And from the client perspective, Vice President IT, Vice President Finance, and Project Manager and Technical Head would be involved. And as a consultant, remember, we don't involve in project preparation phase. We involve only in second phase, that is blueprinting phase. So these are the 5 phases of the SAP methodology, and each phase again have certain activities. With project preparation phase, see, in project preparation phase, like first after assessing like how many users they have, so they will be deciding in how many licenses to be purchased. SAP is not a package where we can buy outright, like paying some lump sum money. It is SAP charges as per license, like say per license it is 80,000 in Indian rupees, suppose say, and they charge every year 22% on that 80,000 for each license as a AMC cost to provide support or bug fixes, upgradations, whatever it is. Okay. So they will assess like how many licenses they need. Okay. And sometimes some companies will share the license if they have shift-wise work in their plants, like 12-hour shift. Okay, the other guy will come and use the same login. So they will assess all these and come to a conclusion how many licenses they want. Suppose say in Galaxy Pharma we have 1,000 users. Users here in the sense the guys who work on computers. The headcount of the company may be 5,000 or 10,000. But the number 1,000 is nothing but the people who are going to use SAP to work. Okay. After deciding that, they will be deciding what would be the landscape. But because see, in your interview also you face these questions like what is your landscape, what is your landscape of the current project. Okay. See, why? Because SAP suggests to go for minimum 3 servers, already we discussed. But some companies would be going only with 2 servers. That is, they will skip this QA server. The QA server will not be, but they will be having only development and production. They will do all the integration testing, everything in the development client itself, and they will directly transport it to the production environment. And at the same time, this is, let's say, only 2 systems, and some companies will go with they will be having one extra in production, that is pre-production. Okay. See, this pre-production is used to make certain that the data is consistent and to avoid any inconsistency. Okay, and this also helps to troubleshoot if any issue we get in the real time in support project. Why? Because we will not have access to production server, and if an end user raises an issue saying that I am getting an error at some while creating order or something, what we will do is we will take the access from the core user and we will log in into the production server. Okay, production server, and we will repeat what core user is doing. That means exactly, but because this pre-production server is nothing but a mirror image of the production server. So if a core user is getting an error in production server, that means the same error should be get in the pre-production server. Then it's an issue actually. That means there is some confirmation or something. If we are not getting this error here, means there is something which they are doing in the process, like they are entering either sales area different or something. Okay, so then we'll just ask them to correct their transaction. Okay, so
This pre-production is that a server or a
it's a
client?
client. It's a client in the production server.
Oh,
Okay, like many of the companies may not have them, but they have lot of data, like retail companies, Walmart or something. They will be having huge transactions, right?
yeah.
So like they want to make sure that when they transfer something from quality to production, there should not be any test data or something. So they first move it into the pre-production and then they move it into the production. Okay. And as I already told you, like development server will be used, and that means configuration client will be only used by consultants, and quality server will be used by anyone. Like say it can be used by the testers, okay, or core users. Why? Because if we develop some scenario, we will ask the core user to test before we move it into a production server. So core user will have access to this QA system, and at the same time the production server is nothing but the live where we have all the client's transactions and day-to-day data, and consultants will not have access to production server. After they deciding what should be the landscape and how everything should be, they'll decide on the sizing of the servers, that is what should be the hard disk, RAM, and these all things with the technical people will decide that. And where to buy from the servers, like there are popular manufacturers who sell the servers like HP, IBM, HCL, Dell. Okay, so after deciding that, say they'll assess like how many licenses to be purchased and how many PCs to be purchased. Why? Because they have assessed in the first place, like say they want 100 PCs. Why? Because 1000 PCs. Why? Because they have 1000 users who are going to work. That means they are buying 1000 licenses. So in any company already they will be having. You want me to go ahead?
Yeah, I think I sent that call to voicemail. That's fine. Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay. See, in any organization they would be already having some PCs in the legacy system what they are using. Okay. So Suppose say in Galaxy Pharma they want to purchase 1,000 licenses. That means they require 1,000 PCs. But as per, as in present the company have only 400 PCs, and out of that only 200 will support SAP.
Right.
Okay, that means how many PCs they want to still buy? That is 800 new and 200 already existing. So that sum up to the 1,000 PCs.
These are the PCs
Client,
for the end user.
end users in Galaxy Pharma.
Okay.
Okay, so they will be assessing these also. So how many pieces to be bought like this. Okay, so once it's done, they would be deciding of the server environment. Server environment in the sense in all aspects of the server, where to place the server. See, in real time what happens is all the three servers may not be in the same premises or in the same room. They might be having development client in one country, testing client in one country, and production client in one country. They might not be having all this in a single location. For example, say take Honda as an example, or Sony, or Toyota. These all companies are headquartered in Japan, right?
Yeah.
But these companies have operations in say US, UK, Australia, and India. Okay, so these company may decide, like say out of the three servers, these here they will be having only GUI. That means transaction server and transaction and database servers would be in headquarters. That means whatever the inputs they give and whatever the output they want to view, all everything would be transferred to this server, and it would be again come back to output like what they are seeing in their system GUI.
Okay.
Okay, so it's not necessary that the server should be in a single room or a single premises. It can be in different countries depending upon the company's decision.
Okay.
Okay, and this would be connected through VPN, virtual private networks. So they will be deciding on this, like how where should be the server placements, and in the same time server security. Where they place the servers, the security of the server room is very important, and only the power user would be having access to that security room, apart from the employees. Employees in the sense who take care of the admins, who take care of the server, the basis team. From basis team, only power user will have access, not even the CFO or COO or Vice President IT, anyone will not have the access to the server room. Okay, and the same time what would be the temperature requirement of the server room. So, and what should be the VPN connectivity. They will be deciding on all these things in the infrastructure activity.
Okay.
Okay. So, after this, they will be deciding on the team. So implementation partner in the team, like what is the team going to involve in the project? Suppose say it's implementation partner, and this is the Galaxy Pharma, that is the client. Customer, we'll say it as customer. You confuse difference between the customer and the client. Okay. So what these people will do is they list out the team who are going to involve in the project. Implementation partner will list out all the consultants. At the same time, Galaxy Pharma will list out all the core users. Okay. So, have you ever contacted core user in your project?
Uh, when you say core user, do you mean the super user?
No, the guy who provides you all the things, the data, or who explains you the business process in the BVP.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. In implementation, the person who has shown the DBP
Yeah,
first.
yeah. So those people are called as core user. Like most
Okay,
is what the customer, that is Galaxy Pharma, will do is they will list out core users. Core user is nothing but the employees of a company and who have very good understanding and knowledge of that particular business area. Suppose say SD. SD is related to sales and marketing, and FI and MM. Okay. So SD core user can be a sales manager or a general manager sales. At the same time, FI can be an accountant who is working in the company since last 15 years or 20 years, or a general manager from finance. Okay. So these guys will be having complete knowledge of the business process of the on that particular department. So because they need to share a lot of things with the consultants, right? If they have consignment process, they need to discuss how their consignment process works. If they have returns, how the return process works. Okay, so this all things they would be discussing, and SD consultant will have only access to sales core user. Whatever we require in the project, we need to contact only as sales core user who is listed. Okay, so if suppose say, actually in general what happens is in India SAP projects is not all the time 100% success. Sometimes even SAP implementations fails. Okay, and in India there is one very big government company, a steel plant. It's a multi-billion-dollar company where SAP implementation has been failed. Okay, because say if core user is not providing you the right information, okay, and these guys don't want the change in the company. Okay, well, because a new environment is coming, and what happens is if SAP is implemented, everything becomes transparency. A single change in one department will be reflected in all the things where it should be in seconds. Okay, these guys what they would be doing, suppose say in a steel in a steel plant there would be a lot of things like a scrap. So these guys may be doing some this thing like malpractices, selling the scrap or underweighing the loads. If it is 1 ton, they would be showing it as 9.90 ton, like 990 tons. That is 100 or 10 guys they would not show. Okay, there would be, these guys would be doing this malpractice. See, if in SAP is implemented, this everything will come out. Okay, so that cases like what happens is these core users will not support consultants. They will not provide the details or they will not come on time. Okay, in that cases, certain cases actually even SAP implementation fails, and this happened. There are very big companies tried to implement SAP in that steel plant. I cannot name actually that name company. Okay, but tried, but it has failed. SAP itself has come and implemented through one of the implementation partner, but because it's a very big reputation issue for SAP. Okay, so later on they have implemented that and it's successfully running. Even I can share that BDP also with you. It's a very huge project. I guess half of the SAP modules are implemented in that company. Okay. So here what they will do is they will list out all the concept team, like the team from implementation partner, that is SD, FI, MM, and here they will list out the core users. Okay. So see, you should be prepared with one question here in interviews. If this see here what happens is they might be asking you sometime like what is your team size. Okay. So if you are not prepared with this, you'll be selling some number. Okay. What happens is, say, if they ask this question like say, what is your team size? If you say 15, okay, the immediate question follows is what is the size of SD module? Okay. If you say SD is 3, So if they ask, let's say, they may not ask this question for experienced guy like you, but they may ask like if they get a doubt like whether you really worked or not on the real time.
Right.
Okay, but it's better to be prepared. Okay, so if you say like another MM3 guys, FI3 guys, and say basis 2 guys, adapters 3 guys, and PP it's 2 guys, QM 1 guy or something. Okay, then if say like some of these like it's 9, 10, 11, and 10, 11, and it is 14, 15, 16, and 17. Okay, but the team size you said is 15. Okay, so you should always be prepared with this question. Like you need to, if they ask, let's say, what is the team size, you need to get the whole team size to 15. Okay, okay, so these are little questions which we know and which we can feel comfortable answering. If not with this one question, he can make out that you did not work in real time. So like they will be discussing what would be the team size and these all things. Suppose say for a domestic project, suppose the company doesn't have presence in any other country and it does only business in, suppose say, either in only in US, only in Mexico, or only in India. Okay, then the team size can be 15 including all modules. Okay, and suppose say a domestic project and you don't know the client. Suppose roughly if asked, like suppose say if I say the company Tata in India or Reliance in India, you know how big those companies are, how many verticals they are into. So and their turnover, you know. So basing upon that, if I ask like how much time it will take to implement for that company or how much team you require for that, if you can take some rough figure. Okay? But if you don't know the client, if someone asks like how much generally what would be the team size for a domestic project, it would be 15. For domestic project, the team size is 15. Out of that, SD consultants would be 3. In that, one would be the SAP SD consultant, and one would be associate consultant, and one would be, and two would be associate consultant, or one would be associate consultant, and one would be shadow consultant. Okay. So why? Because they would be asking like if you say team size 3, like they would be asking like what other 2 guys are doing. Because you are involving in the BBP phase, right? Only consultant will be involved in BBP requirement gathering. Associate consultant, shadow consultant will not involve. So they will be asking like what other 2 guys were doing. So see, what we will do is as a consultant will go and collect the requirements from the core user, and he will prepare requirement document. Like see, these guys, shadow consultant will be doing the DTP work, like say preparing the documents, end user manuals, or these all things. Because consultant's time is very precious. He will not sit and prepare all the documents or something. Associate consultant will help configuring some topic like free groups, material determination, listing exclusion, like small topics. Okay, major topics like credit management, pricing, all the things SAP SD consultant will be doing, and associate consultant will be helping him with these things, some other small topics. Okay. So that's one thing, like what the team says. Suppose say it's an MNC company, it has presence in some 50 countries or 100 countries. Then the team size can be 60, the whole team size. Out of that, SD will be 10 SD consultants. If it is an MNC which has multiple operations in different countries. Okay, so they will be deciding team, like how many people would be working, these all things. Then after consultant facilities, like say if you are on site, if it is a domestic project, what happens is all the implementation will be done at customer's place. Okay, if it is an MNC, suppose say I'm in India and the customer is in US. Okay, only one guy from each module will be traveling to US and collect the requirements or whatever it is, on-site offshore process. Okay, but the project is domestic, either it's only US or only in India. What happens is all the team 15 will be moving to client's location and they will be working at client's location. Okay, and so if if team is going there, customer need to take care of their facilities, their conveyance or their stay or these all things. So they would be even discussing these all things, like who would be providing the conveyance, like who would be providing their accommodation, these all things. So once they decide this thing, the next this is the average tenure of a project. Like project preparation is 3 months, business blueprinting and as is to be, this all is another 6 months. Realization, that is configurations, baseline configuration. We'll have different configurations, baseline configuration and final configurations. Baseline configuration we will be doing module independent. We need not to have any thing with other modules. Final preparation, we will be doing integration configuration like FBA, SD, SD, FI. Okay, in final preparation, if any leftover things would be there, they will be taken care of here, and go live and testing. On average, it would be just an 18 months project. Okay, so they will be even deciding on the go live date. What should be the go live date? Okay, it can be a plus or minus, but they will become, but because say in SAP you ask anyone who worked in SAP, if you ask them like what would be the tenure of a project, they can come to a figure at least, like they will be say 6 months or 12 months. How they come to know that it is 6 months or 12 months? Why? Because 12 months is nothing but 6 plus 3 and 12 plus 6, that is 6 months for implementation and 3 is post-production support, that is go live support. Okay, you can see here go live and testing and support. Okay, this is implementation and support. So how they can come to know like it will take 6 months plus 3 months or 12 months to 6 months is because of the SAP methodology. Because SAP methodology, it has been clearly given guidelines when and what to do in the which phase. So with this we can come to know like the tenure of the, it can be a plus or minus, but we can know the tenure of the project. The next thing is they will decide the go live date, and after the scope of the project they will decide like say, suppose say there are any special business requirements, they will see through whether it is implemented now or later. Okay, any leftover these things they will be deciding here. So after completion of this project preparation phase, these seven activities would be there in any project preparation phase. These are not standard. This can be varied from implementation partner, company to company actually. So because different companies have different process like CMM, level 3, level 5, ISO, this kind of things. So depending upon the company, they will be having different processes, the kind of documentation they should be maintained. Okay, so depends upon like these are not standard actually. This can be very depend upon the company. So once this phase is about to complete and finished, what the implementation team, the team which has gone to the client to collect all these things like BDM, they all will be coming back to the company, and they have listed all the consultants, right? The 15 ones. So what will they do is they will call for a kickoff meeting. Have you ever kickoff meeting? Yeah. So they will call all the consultants who are going to involve in this project, the 15 guys, and they will be discussing various things in the kickoff meeting. That is, they will introduce the client to whom they are going to implement, what is client and these things, and they will be telling what are the rules and regulations. Why? Because say when in a domestic project all the team is moving to the customer's place. Customer's place means that will be maximum they will be moving to plant. Okay. There would be some do's and don'ts in plant. They should not smoke, or they should wear headgear while getting out in the plant. Okay, so there will be some rules and regulations. So all the client's rules and regulations they'll be discussing here, and the roles and responsibilities of all the consultants. What are their roles and what are these things, and what is the core user list. They will share the core user list here. For SD, so and so X is the core user. So for any SD related things, you need to contact X. Okay. Though they will be discussing about the go live date and the starting date. So this will be the typical kickoff meeting agenda. So once they discuss kickoff meeting and everything is done, they will be next moving to the second phase of SAP methodology, that is business blueprinting phase. Okay. So this would be the blueprinting phase. So in blueprinting, what they will do is first they will gather the requirements for the customer. In general, what happens is, as and when the team moves to the plant, hardly the first 2 or 3 days would be plant visit. They will explain about the company. These things, they will not dive directly into the project actually. And even they may be asking in an interview like what you did in the first day of your implementation project. Okay, so we may not be starting immediately, like on the first day itself we may not go and ask the requirements from the core user. They will be first introducing you like to the plant, team, these all things to make you familiar with the environment. Why? Because we are going to stay there for next 6 months. Okay, so they may be asking into you like say what you did on your first day of your implementation project. Okay, so like here when we enter into business blueprint phase, see as I told you, what are highlighted in the red are you should remember, and these are the base minimum for a consultant. If you work in a real time, consultants will only involve from business like BBP phase. They are not involved in the project preparation phase. So because I have seen many guys saying like involving in project preparation phase. Okay. So like typically what they will be doing is like the customer will provide each rooms for every consultant where they can sit and discuss for core user and consultant. Like room 1 can be SD, room 2 can be MMPP, FI. So here they will sit and discuss. First they will fix a time like say 10 to 3 p.m. Like why? Because core user is nothing but a senior person in the company. He can be a general manager or he can be a sales manager. Okay. So we need to fix some time with him. So we'll fix some time like say 10 to 3 p.m. or something where he'll come and we'll be asking some questions, and I'll show you the database how it looks. Like most of the implementation partners, they have their own database like DBF questions what to be asked to a consultant. Why? Because even though we're consultants, we cannot ask these number of questions to requirement gathering. Okay, like how many plans you have, what are the divisions you have, what are the sales process. We cannot ask these things, we cannot remember. So most of the like implementation partners will they have their own database of questions. Okay, like say coming to sales area, okay, we will be carrying this document and we will be asking the core user, do you need to keep the sales activities of a particular enterprise areas or product group completely separate? Depending upon the requirement, he will be giving yes or no, or he will be giving a descriptive answer. So we need to make note of everything as it is. Whatever core user explained, we should make a note of it as it is. Okay. We should not do any alterations or anything in that. See here, like say, do you have any one-time customers? Yes. Do you have any vendors who are also customers? Yes. So we will be collecting from him on every topic, like what all there in it, shipping, goods issue, billing, credit management, everything will become. Like when creating order, do you check to see the purchase order has been used already or not? Okay. Like this comes in copy control actually requirement, copy requirement 101. Because the
What does this mean?
this question actually when creating an order, okay, we create order with reference to purchase order, right? Client will place a purchase order. With reference to that, actually we create a order. Suppose say in the morning 10 o'clock one end user has been created order with reference to that particular sales order. He left his shift.
What? Purchase order or sales order?
Sales order. We create sales order with reference to purchase order. Suppose
Where do we go back?
end user. No, I'm talking about end user. For that, we need to configure as a consultant. I'll show you. Suppose we have a PO. End user is creating sales order with reference to PO. Okay. Okay. See, this is end user 1, and we have another end user 2. See, his shift is finished by afternoon 2 o'clock, and a new end user has started a new shift. And he sees this PO as open, and again he creates a sales order. The same PO. It's a PO1 and it's a PO1, but there are two sales orders. Okay. So if you want to restrict the while creating order, whether you want the system to check whether this PO is referred already or not. Okay. We have this configuration in sales documents. We can do that. Check PO automatic. There is a field. If there is a check indicator. If we check that, what happens is system will check whether for this order any PO, open PO is existed or not. Okay. So in that way, like see, he's asking that question like already. The core user said no. Okay. So we will be collecting all the requirements of the company in this way. This is module specific. This is only for SD. We cannot remember these many questions, right? So most probably these questions are little customized according to the implementation partners, and they will have their own DB for these questions, and they will be handovering you so that you can take this to them and you can ask the questions one by one and make a note of that. Okay. Once after 3 p.m. when you come back, what you will do is you will prepare an as-is document. That is what the present business process of a customer. That means they don't want to refer sales order for any open purchase order or not. Okay, this is as-is document. I'll show you an example of as-is document. See, this is a sample example of an as-is and to-be document. So with what the information we get from the core user for the requirement gathering, we will prepare as is. That is, the sales process occurs when the customer is ready to take the product by paying the required amount immediately. That means cash and carry. They will pay the cash and take the goods with them itself. So if how we will be mapping that? To be is nothing but how we map the cash sales in SAP. That means this is the process where end user will be using the transactions. So we need, as a consultant, we need to have idea how we will configure this in SAP. So if it is in cash sales, so we should have an idea that for cash sales in SAP there is a document type, that is CS, and there is an item category called BVN, and in the sales document there is immediate delivery is checked as X. Yesterday we have seen, right? And the billing document type and the delivery type is BV. So we need to know that. Okay. At the same time, suppose say they have third-party material. See, all orders of the company are procured through the vendors using third-party sales process. Vendor directly sends the goods to customer as per the required mentioned in the sales order, and when vendor bills the company, Myro. Okay. So you need to know the third-party process to configure this requirement of the customer. That is, you need to know both with shipping notification and without shipping notification. and what is the item category group and what is the item category and what are the controls in that. There are different controls in schedule and category. Okay, so we need to know these all things to configure that. If customer is coming with some new requirement, yesterday as we were selling in consignment, they have security deposit. Okay, then we will think of that particular requirement, but before that first we will understand how to configure that in a SAP system. Okay, so later on we will discuss on what is customer's requirement, which is deviating from the standard process of SAP. Okay, so once this is done, what happens is, in this process of BBP phase, when we are preparing the as is to be, okay, suppose say this is as is and this is to be. Okay, when we are doing, suppose say now we have seen cash sales and the third party. Okay, as an example, in this document we have seen the example. Okay, cash sale and third party. Okay, what we will do is we will be making a note of like how this can be done in the SAP. Like for cash sale we have a document category CS, BVN as an item category, X immediate delivery check, like this. But in this process what happens is, certain requirements we will not meet the standard requirements, will not meet client's requirements. That is called as a gap. That means this cannot be customized or configured using the standard SAP. Okay, those are called as gap. Yesterday we have seen one gap in condition update. The number of order is 3. Okay, suppose a customer have an requirement of condition update. Okay, and in the same time like he wants to have 100 orders, but in SAP it is only 3. So that's the reason you should know first of all what all there in the SAP. Okay, if you know what all there in the SAP, then we can give a solution to customer. If we don't know, suppose say SAP restricts only for 3, and if we committed we can do it in SAP, it's a big problem, right? So these gaps are identified. There will be 10 gaps, there will be 20 gaps, depends upon the customer requirements. Okay, so what we will do is we will make a gap analysis document, like saying that in gap analysis document I'll show you, we will clearly describe what is the gap, whether a solution is there or not, or here like this. The to be document consists how the present business process is there in the legacy system and how they are doing, and in the process they will be finding the gap. Okay, what we will do is, in that gap, like when we find a gap, we will do the gap analysis document. That is, we will clearly describe what is the gap and whether we can provide a solution with any alternative solution is there or not. Like suppose say here customer is asking for number of orders. Here, okay, here customer is asking for number of orders, right? But we have an option to go for value or quantity. Instead of going for number of orders, we may suggest customer to go for value, like say 10 lakhs worth, or we will say go 1000 cartons. Okay, so we will try to give a solution of alternative solution. Okay, instead of this you can go for these things. But if client wants only number of orders, then we need to go for the enhancement, customization. If he agrees for the our alternative, that's so fine. If he don't agrees and he wants that to be done, then we will go, like we will see is there an alternative solution. If there, we'll propose it. If yes, then what is the solution we are going to provide. If he don't want to that and he want it to be developed, then we will estimate the functional man days, technical man days. Okay, and after preparing preparing these all things, we will prepare this document to the core user, the BBP document. Okay.
Yeah, that's right. Praveen, actually, my main thing I want to learn in this course,
Mm-hmm.
other than what we spoke about yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
is the functional specification.
Sure, sure. I will be discussing about functional specification.
Mm.
Like I will be giving you almost say 50 examples of logics.
Okay,
See,
wow.
functional specification is nothing but a logic.
Right.
Okay. Actually, functional specification document will have certain standard of structure, depends upon company. Like saying that they will be having who prepared the document, what is the sign, what is the gist of the functional specification, these all things.
Right.
But the core of the functional specification is nothing but the logic.
Right.
Okay, and see how best you are in functional specification development, that would respect and you will command in the project, in the team. And at the same
Right.
time, see, functional specification document is like should be, developer will appreciate you a lot first. But
Right.
once you create a functional specification document, a developer should not come back to you again asking you what is this.
Right.
Seeing the document itself, he should develop the requirement. Okay, so I will very much make you familiar regarding the functional specification, and it's one of my very core area. Okay, and I will be explaining you from very small requirement to huge requirements, like closely 50 logics I will be providing you.
Okay.
Right from say, suppose customer wants to have region based sales. Okay, so how it needs to be customized. So I will be giving like a very good focus on the this thing, functional spec documents.
One last thing I just remembered, I want to mention it before I forget.
Okay.
Um, uh, will you be showing customer hierarchy?
Actually, we are not using customer hierarchy these days, but if you want, I can. Okay, if you want, I can. Or else, I can provide you some good material customer hierarchy. I have that material with me. You want go through that. If you find any difficulty in that, please let me know.
Okay.
But because even in my projects also, I never used customer hierarchy. I have an idea, but never tried on the system or in any project.
Okay.
Okay. So that's the reason I have collected a good document with me. Whenever if I want to just refer that.
Right.
Okay. So here what we will do is we will create a functional spec like estimated mandates, these all things. Okay. And we will be sending this BBP document to the core user. See, there is one very important question in the interviews you will be facing is how many times you will be taking sign off from the core user in your implementation project.
Okay.
Okay. So one sign off we will be taking here, BBP. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So this is a very important question, which major even consultants doesn't answer.
Right.
Okay. So how many areas, how many times you will be taking sign off from the core users? Okay. So if core user is okay with that, we will take the sign off. Okay. So what core user will do is he will go through the BBP document, and if everything is okay with him, then he will send a confirmation email. Okay. And see, after confirmation email, what we will do is we will make a 2 copies of that document. In one document is with it will be with the implementation partner, and one document we will send it to the company, the customer. There we will be having core user signature, project manager signature, and the implementation partner, a consultant signature who prepared the document. Okay, so
Right.
with everything we'll be having. So without sign off, we are not supposed to move to any next phase in SAP.
Okay.
Well, because we don't take sign off means if later core user may say no, I don't want this, I want this or something. Once something is freezed, that is freezed. So
Right.
we make sure that everything is freezed and we take a sign off and we will move ahead. So without any sign off, we will not move to the next phase of SAP methodology.
Right.
So in typical, for a local project, it's a domestic project, the BBP phase may be taking around 1.5 months, 2 months or something. It depends. Okay. Earlier we have seen the diagram for 18-month project, it is 6 months. Okay.
Right.
In the whole overall 6 months project or 12-month project, most of the time you will be spending only on BBP. Well, because this is the core part of the project. If something goes wrong here, like suppose say understanding the requirement of customer or something wrong which we prepared as is to be, or we did not analyze the gap, okay, so we will be facing some very critical issues. Okay, so
Right.
here what we will be doing is first is in general, like I would need to give you some light, because diagrams give you a lot of idea than text. In scope document, actually we will make a scope of actually what is the business process and what we need to do, what we not to do, everything. Okay, if something goes wrong in later phases, again we will come back and we will refer this scope document. If your scope document is not correct, then your project is going to fail. Okay, well, so at any later stage of the project, if you find any difficulty or if code user is saying something else or whatever it is, again we will come back and refer to this scope document. So because we have outlined some scope, what it should be there in the project. Okay, so this will have complete questionnaire and the entire process of the business. So basing upon this, we will be, scope document is nothing but the DB, question answer DB, what I have shown you, all the questions and answers. Okay. So suppose in some question he said no at that point and now he is saying yes. So we again go back and refer that question, what the answer he has given at that point. Okay. So basing upon that QDB, we will be preparing as is, to be and gap analysis. Then after we will be taking the sign off. Okay.
Right.
So my advice would be, you take the printout of these copies and stick it somewhere in your study room or somewhere you can stare at a glimpse at least for 5 minutes every day, instead of reading and wasting some time. But because see, there are a lot of other things I would be sending you, some 10 to 15 documents which I want you to take a printout. Like say, suppose say example, I'll show you. See, these are business process documents. See, this is third-party written business process. See, instead of reading the whole content, I want you to take this printout and stick in your room so that you can stare at these things every day. Why? Because with this one image, we can give a lecture of 3 hours or 4 hours. The whole third-party process is there in this. Like I will be providing a different image rather than this. Like in that you will be having controls also. What is the item category group? What is the item category? What is the checking group? What is the billing quantity? In third party with shipping notification, we will be having different billing quantity and billing reference, right? So I will be explaining you all that in that diagram. To make, actually that is in another color actually, I want to make it more colorful, so I have designed this. So I want those documents, and one another thing also, show you. So these things would be coming up very handy for your preparation, and it will save you a lot of time for you. See this document. This is a simple one-page document, but it has complete SAP in it. All the sales process. See, the document type of an SAP inquiry is IN, and document control is A. Item category group, what is the schedule line, what is the delivery type, and what is billing type. Okay, if we write this in a book, we can write it somewhere around 100 or 200 pages with a simple this diagram. Okay, so this would be very handy and very useful for you if you take a printout and stick in your wall, so that you can just go and memorize these things. See here. Okay, it saves a lot of time for you. See here, cash sales, the document type is CS, and the document type control is C. Item category is BVN, and the item category group is norm, and the schedule line category is DN, and delivery type is BV, and billing type is BV. This if you want to know what is the billing type for cash sales, we need to go to transaction VOVA, then we need to browse through and we need to find the billing field, and there we will come to know that it is BV. Instead of that, if you have this document, everything is covered in this document itself. Okay, so I will be sending you certain things like this, which you can take a printout and stick, so that it will save you a lot of time. Okay, so this one thing. Let me come back to ADP. So we'll take sign off from the core user. If it is done, then we will move on to the next phase. So in BBP phase, we will be preparing two documents. See, there is one other important question you will be facing in interviews, that like what are the documents you prepared in your implementation project? Okay. So this is a very important question. Why? Because you worked in a project for 8 months and you don't know what documents you prepared, that itself will give an impression that you did not work in a real time. So, okay, so in this phase we will be preparing two documents. That is, one is BBP document. In that there would be as is and to be, and gap analysis document. Okay. And we will be facing common issues in BBP phase. That is, like say, core users, as I earlier told, core users may not be supporting and sharing the information. Okay. So if suppose say that situation has come to you, core user is not coming on time, he has 10 time, our time is 10 to 3, but he is coming at somewhere around 1 or 2 after lunch. Okay, he is a very senior employee, we cannot ask him to come by time 10 o'clock or something. Okay, so at that time what you will do as a consultant? So as a consultant, what we will do is, we will report that to our project manager. We will not talk to core user or anyone. We will report that to our project manager, so that our project manager will talk to their project manager, he will inform to core user. Okay. So if you have any problem, if you face this kind of situation, you need to contact project manager rather than asking core user to say come on time. And one interesting thing I have observed is, why? Because even I train core users also, not only consultants. Some companies send their core users to me to train. Why? Because say SAP is getting implemented in their company, so they feel that if the core user also has some SD knowledge, it will be helping them. Okay. So, but one interesting thing what I have observed is, core user, suppose say we take an example of a cement industry. A core user means like he has experience of 15 to 20 years in that cement industry. He know in and out of the sales process, he know competitors, everything he know. Okay. So what happens is, actually core user will get a benefit by involving in this project actually. Why? Because they will be paying some, if the project is success, they will be paying some lump sum amount to core users, some like 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, 20 lakhs. Why? Because he is doing the company's job and he need to involve in the project also. Okay, so he is doing two tasks. But because as he is a core user, he cannot neglect for the next 6 months his main business, right? He is a sales manager, a general manager. So because of that, actually companies pay a lot of money, like 10 lakhs or 15 lakhs or something to core users. What happens is, I have observed and I have seen some people, they have very good knowledge in business, if it is a cement industry, and they have worked for 6 months or 12 months in a project. Okay, so what core user, see, and other common problem what happens is with the BBP phase, if core user has a knowledge of SD. Okay, suppose we will take case of yours and mine. I am a trainer and you are already a certified consultant in SD. Okay, so you know certain things, you will be asking me before I explain you. Okay, it happens with the same here also. What he will do is, core user will test our knowledge, the consultant's knowledge, or if he attends some class today, pricing at something, he will, instead of the business process, he will be discussing that to the consultant, how to do this configuration, that configuration, or these things. Okay, and what happens is, after 6 months or 8 months, he will be having some good knowledge of SAP also, and he has business knowledge. These guys would be jumping from this company and they will be joining as a delivery manager in some implementation partner companies. Okay. Why? Because what implementation partner can claim, they are strong in implementing cement industries. Why? Because they have a very good practice head who worked in 20 years in cement industry, and he know what is SD, what is SAP process at least. What these guys will be doing is, after finishing of the project, they'll just put on their papers, they'll take the benefits, they'll put on the papers, and they'll jump to some implementation company, and they'll join as the delivery managers there. I have observed this. Okay. Well, because they have very good business knowledge in that particular domain in cement industries. And what now this company, suppose say he joined in some X company, what now that X company can claim, we are very good in implementing cement industry implementations. And this guy already there in 15 years since in the market, he will be having lot of contacts, he can give all the list to BDMs, and he personally can approach to get the project. Okay, so this happens in the industry. Okay, so, and this is the problem actually we face in BDP phase actually in general. Like, these guys would not be interested in sharing the knowledge, or they don't want the change. Okay, our core user will be having the configuration knowledge, so he will test our knowledge. Okay, so after this we will again take the sign off and these all things, and we will see this knowledge will make you different from other consultants. Well, because no consultant will know these all details. Well, because they don't involve in the project preparation phase. Okay. So after sign off, we will move on to the next phase, that is realization phase, where we do actual configuration. Till this phase, we won't even touch the system, or we won't have access to the system. We will be having only sandbox, but we won't have the access to the configuration. Okay, only at this phase we will going to touch the SAP system. We will be first time logging into the SAP system. So here first we will be doing is baseline scope, that is project specific. That is, first you will configure your SD configurations first, complete SD configurations. In this baseline configuration, you will not either talk to MM or PP or any other module. This is called as baseline configuration. Like, they'll be asking you in interview, like, what are the what you do in realization phase. Okay, and how many types of configurations we have in realization phase. One is baseline and one is final configurations. Okay. Baseline we will be doing only as an independent, and the final configuration we will be doing integrations. That is, suppose coming to SD as our perspective, if it is with FI, that is revenue account determination, that is credit management, that is pricing, these all things. If it is an SD integration, that is material master, we need to maintain certain views in that, and availability check, delivery scheduling, transfer of requirements, third party, stock transport order. Okay, these all integrations we will be doing in the baseline scope, the final configuration. Okay. Then after again we take sign off. See, we have taken one sign off in after BDP phase, and this is the second sign off. That's the reason they ask how many times you take the sign off in an implementation project. So this is the second sign off. First sign off we have taken as a consultants. We take sign off one at the BDP phase, BDP document. Second is this here, after configuration in the preparation phase. Okay, this is the second sign up. So you need to remember like how many sign-offs we take in a project. Okay, so baseline configuration. So in baseline, as I told, it's a module specific. In final configuration, it is integration between it can be MM, PPF, third-party management, or credit management. It can be anything. Okay.
Right. So there's when there's any kind of configuration, that's the final configuration.
That's the final configuration. Okay. As it is simple to say, unit testing and integration testing. Unit testing, what we do, we test only module specific configurations. Okay. In integration testing, we will test scenarios in which are implication to the one or more modules. Okay. So by you doing these all things, we will be seeing transportation requests. I guess I need not to explain you more on transportation requests. You already worked on that.
Yeah. I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're doing the unit testing,
Mm-hmm.
like for example, given inside the order,
Okay.
there is SQMN, there's so much SQMN integration.
Yes.
How do you do that simply through unit testing?
You are talking about the configuration or testing? Testing.
Yeah, like say if you run the transaction, which is let's say for testing,
Okay.
then you are touching MM so many times, right?
Yes.
So it means that there are at least already there are few modules involved.
Like see, what we will do is in unit testing, first we will make sure that our SD configuration is stable. We will not make sure that whether MM is up or FI is up. We will first make sure that suppose say it's a cash sales. We will make sure that if for cash sales the document should be CS and category should be C and the delivery should be X and these all things. First we will make sure that process. Okay.
So at that point you are not concerned about
No. Nothing. We will not actually test anything there. We will not test any configurations there. We will first make sure that our configuration is perfect and stable. Okay. I'll show you an example. This anyway we will discuss in testing actually. The next page or second page. Just after 15 minutes. Okay. So here we will be having requests. Will be a lot of transport requests will be generating, and you know how to transport requests and these all things, right? You want me to explain?
STMS, right?
Yeah, STMS or SCC1 we will be importing, but the STMS, that's final.
The SCC1, would you get a TR for that?
No, you will just import. I'll show you one. You will see it in the system so that you will never forget it again. Suppose say you want to test some scenario and you are importing from a configuration client to sandbox. Then you will, within the server it is always import within a single server, that is SCC1. Okay. Here what system has done, this is the source client. Now I am in 800 client. Suppose say now we are in sandbox. Here what I will give is the source client. What is the source? It is a configuration client. Suppose say 101. So for every configuration it will generate a transport request, right? You will make a note of that request there. You will come here and you will paste it here.
Okay, so there is a TR.
It will be generated, but this TR will not list out in the Excel and will not give it to the basis. For every configuration there will be a transport request generated.
Right.
So certain things we will not transport that from the server to server. This is only for testing purpose, R&D or something within the server. So we will make note of that request, paste it here and start immediately means it will do it immediately, or we will schedule it as a background job.
Okay, so when if you are happy with this and we want to move it to the next server,
Okay.
it's the same TR, right?
Yes. That's the same thing which we will give it to the basis consultant.
Okay, it's the same TR number.
Yes. if it works perfectly, the same thing. Okay, that's one thing.
One more question.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work,
Mm-hmm.
you're not happy with it.
Okay.
How do you, when you go back to the original client,
Mm-hmm.
you don't need to reverse this. You just make a new configuration and you'll get a new TR.
Yeah. See, we have an option of saving the configuration in the same TR or a new TR. Okay. So if you want new, we can create new. If not, we can save that in the same TR.
Right, yeah, now I'm remembering. Yeah, if it is logically related, it makes sense to show it in the same TR.
Yes. So suppose say I'll give an example. I have created a customer master. I'll put it here. See, I have a customer master. Okay. So for this customer, uh, he has a fax number and he was email ID. In customer master, we can find that in address tab, right?
Right.
Okay. So his fax number and email has been changed. Okay. Suppose say first while creating, like, see, customer master will be created by end user.
Right.
Okay. So see, when they created the customer master, the transport request, the very first time when they created this customer X, customer say X, when they created it for the very first time, system has generated transport request number as 101. Okay.
Even for master data, you have TRs?
Yeah, when you save it, when we do the first time, when we
You have a TR for master data.
not from the here in the not in the production, I'm talking about here in the development server when we are configuring first time.
No, but this is not a config, right? This is master data.
Yeah, see, I'm talking about the testing. We are talking about the testing now.
Testing, okay.
Okay, see, as you told, like we will be importing some. See, we will maintain this master data in test client, that is sandbox or unit testing client. We will have some sample master data. Okay.
Right.
So, like, don't confuse this with the production server end user job. This is as a consultant, we are maintaining this in the test client. Okay.
Right, this is you're saving some data in it.
Yes. Suppose say the fax number is 1234 and email is some x@g or something. Okay. The transport request which system generated is 101. Okay. See, later you have changed something. Their fax number and email number has been changed. So you updated it and system generated number as 102.
Right.
Okay. When suppose say if you are transporting this from one server to another server, and if you want to send this request to basis consultant, we should maintain the sequence, that is 101 and 102. Okay. If not, I say 102 and 102, and what happens? It will again reverse.
Right, it will become wrong.
Wrong, right? Okay. So we need to maintain a sequence. In the same way, like suppose say when we are testing something in the PRO, everything okay, and you feel that you need not to have a new request, then you can save it in the same request.
Okay.
Okay. So this is
I understood the point that you were trying to make. I understood that.
okay.
But, and am I correct when I said that TRs are only for config changes?
Only config.
Okay. Not master data, right?
No. Master data, only for any transaction which end user is generating, there would be a number, that is sales order number, invoice number, delivery number. System will be generating only numbers. Okay. That's the reason we say it as transport request is nothing but customizing request or a workbench request. This is used only by consultants.
Right.
And in some scenarios, as we already discussed, access sequence and condition tables, there we will be saving these in workbench request. Workbench requests are client independent. And Certain configurations we will save in local objects. You know the local objects and packages?
Yes.
Okay.
Local object is if you don't plan to transport it.
Yes, immediately. We will save it in local object. Then after we will go back and we will move it into the package.
Oh, you can do that. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
move it into the package.
Yeah, we can again go back and we can do it. We will see that in the pricing, how to do that when pricing topic comes. We can do that when, and this is an important question in interview.
Okay. I thought that if you put it as local, then it will not make a recording of that.
No, no, it will. We will see that anyway. Again, pricing topic it will come and we will see that. So,
Praveen, I
yes.
just remembered something and I don't want to forget it.
Okay, yeah.
Later on, when you do pricing,
Okay,
sometimes when you are making a condition table,
okay.
that the field that you want sometimes is not in the field catalog.
Allow fields.
Yeah, it's quite complicated how to add a field to a field catalog.
No, it is pretty easy. I'll tell you.
Okay.
I'll show you. Like why? Because see, there is a field called KUKLA, customer category. In customer master, you find customer category or some field is there. Okay, you will not find this KUKLA field in customer catalog, that allowed fields.
Okay.
So you need to add, if you have any requirement saying that it is customer classification, not catalog. In customer master, you remember customer classification field?
Okay, by the way, I'm talking about pricing.
Okay, that's what, see, allowed fields is nothing but these are the fields what you're going to select there. We will be selecting division, sales organization, sales document, material. Okay, these all fields are nothing but these which comes from the customer master pricing and these things. Sales area. Okay, so there is a field called customer classification in customer master.
Okay, I got that one. I don't remember that.
Actually, the field name, the technical name for that, because if you say to a Bapper customer classification, he don't know what it is. But you say KUKLA, he can get it and he can know.
Okay.
Okay. So to add this field, I will show you when it comes there. We can do that.
Okay.
Okay. Or else we can ask a Bapper to do that. Okay. But I'll show you the process how to do this and what are the allowed fields, how we need to access allowed fields.
Okay.
Okay. So now we are in SCC1, that is importing requests. We'll just see, is this SMTS or STMS? I don't exactly remember it. Like see, you also please share some knowledge, as you are already a very experienced guy. If you know something, you just share that knowledge. Okay. So the WAN symbol here. So this is actually where we transport system management. It is also called a CTS, change and transport system, which adapter will be taking care of. Okay. So this is where we are now. So this is the CTS process, how it works actually. Okay, we will be moving requests. So after baseline configuration and final configuration, we transport complete configurations from development server to test server.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how the transport request will have. It will have a parent and child. First we need to release the task, then only we can release the transport main request.
Yeah, first you do the child and then the parent.
Yes, first we do the child, we need to release the child, then we release the parent. Okay, so this is how a transport typical, the screen what we have seen now. This is the WAN symbol which transports actually. Okay, so what we'll do is, we will list out, as I already told you, here like 101 and 102.
What do you click to release it?
The transport icon,
The van or?
the WAN. Just select this. Somewhere, suppose if this is selected,
Yeah.
select it and click on the WAN.
Okay. Got it.
Okay, so it will be released. Why? Because to transport any request from one server to other server, first we need to release that.
Right.
Okay, so what, see, as we already discussed here, we need to list out these all transport requests in a sequence in Excel sheet, and we need to send it to basis consultant and with a small description saying that this is custom master change, this is the material master or whatever it is.
Right.
Okay, that format you will be getting in the company when you have a KT process. When examining
Yeah.
it.
Now, one more thing I remember. I want before I forget. I want to ask you.
Yeah.
Um, in the US, they use solution manager a lot.
Yeah, yeah. In here also they use the solution manager, but is that's not the standard. I never involved in solution manager.
Okay. All right. I just wanted to
See,
clarify.
if you want, I have a couple of videos and a couple of other things, which is a self-learning kind of thing for a solution manager.
Yeah, videos will be very helpful. Yes.
Like it is like a IDES. That itself is like IDES. So
Okay.
for SAP practice, we are using IDES. In the same way, I have a self-explanatory something for solution manager. I guess I'll share you that with you.
Okay.
But because
Because
here,
I have a
yeah,
group called Solution Manager, but it's easier to see a video, right?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
And like solution manager, many companies may not go with that actually. That depends upon the implementation partner.
Right. Right.
I never involved in solution manager.
And were you ever involved in EDI, like iDocs and all?
Yeah, yeah. ALE, Hydox, I have. We will be even discussing ALE configuration.
Okay.
We will discuss how to create a port, what would be the basis activities, and what is the structure of IDOC, and what are the messages, successful messages, sending and receiving.
Okay, like WE 19 and
Yeah,
WE 20 and
WA
all.
02, 05, 09, 07,
Okay.
19, 21.
Okay.
So
Okay. So you'll be teaching us that,
yeah,
right?
I'll be teaching it, but like it would be more of but because see, always mention your IDOC experience in support project. Okay.
Right.
So I'll be explaining you like a complete scenario of how an IDOC, what is the purpose of ALE, EDI, everything I'll be explaining you. That will take
Okay.
one or two classes for us.
Okay.
I will show you. I guess I will be covering everything for you in my course.
Okay.
By knowingly or unknowingly, I will be covering everything to you.
Okay. Great.
Certain things I may not, but I guess I cover everything.
You know what happened today?
Yeah.
I got a initial interview. Um, there's a job, SD job, which is 100%. It's a support job, which is 100% remote.
Okay.
So I can do it from home.
Okay.
And the interview is on December 2nd.
Oh, great.
And I expect to at least get questions from you before I attend
Sure,
that
sure.
interview.
See, if you want, by the time, as we already discussed about these interview questions, the 1,000 questions, see, you go through that questions very quickly, but because you are already certified and you will be understanding this question. And if you cannot find answer for that, you ask me. I'll immediately send you the answer. Okay. So if you go through this, well, because these have questions on early IDOCs also, and this would be very handy for you in your interviews. Most probably with these questions itself, you can clear your interview.
You mean for the support project?
No, for the interview, what you're telling on the December 2nd.
Yeah, that's for the support project.
Yeah, support project, that doesn't matter, right? The questions are same.
Okay.
See, these are the questions which we have in ALA docs, like what is the function module, how many types of records we have in idocs. Like I have somewhere around 60 questions, 57 questions in idocs.
Okay.
So this will help you really lot in your, well, because most of the support project demands idocs.
Yeah, what is the difference between because we don't use ALE, we use EDI over here.
Yeah,
So what is the difference between ALE and EDI?
ALE is particular to SAP. ADI is particular to any technology. If you want to connect any two technologies,
Right.
ADI is the standard.
Right.
Okay,
Like we
but
are familiar with EDI to some extent, but really we don't use it much. I mean, is it very big in India?
yeah, here they use a lot ALE. Well, because
Right.
ALE makes in your job or the company's job simpler. It's a very smooth
So
process. It
therefore
runs
using
confident.
SAP, right?
Yeah, if you suppose the Galaxy Pharmaceuticals, for example, has SAP. Okay,
Yeah.
so if they want to connect to their vendor is using some other system, or suppose say if they are using SAP,
Right.
these two SAP systems, vendor SAP system and Galaxy Pharmaceutical SAP system, can be connected through ALE, application linking and enabling.
Okay.
Okay, so it makes their process very smooth. That is, suppose say if the company raise a purchase order,
Mm-hmm.
if it will be automatically converted in vendor system as a sales order without any entry with the end user.
Right.
Automatically it will be converted, so that they are the same time and there are no errors. Whatever the quantity here they enter, that quantity will be reflecting there. Suppose say end user may do some errors while entering.
Right.
So to reduce these all things they use ALE, but we will be clearly having a session on this.
Okay.
You will have very good knowledge on ALE.
Okay.
So I suggest you go through these questions as early as possible, because this has business scenario questions and everything. This will
Okay.
help you for your December 2nd interview.
Right.
Okay.
And the other thing, I'm asking this because it may be out of off topic, but I'm
Yeah.
asking because I don't want to forget.
No, please go ahead.
Uh, when you go to a new company
Mm-hmm.
or a new job,
Okay.
and obviously you were not there in the implementation,
Yeah.
so you don't know all their modifications and all their rights and options and
Yes.
all that.
Yes.
So is there a way of I mean, I know sometimes all these business processes are captured in government,
Yes.
but is there any way of like knowing like how they are deviating from standard?
Like,
Like,
see, what happens is they would be providing you KT session.
okay,
In that KT session, most probably they will be handovering all the documents if it is well documented. Maybe because certain
right,
companies don't have the process and they don't document well. And as
right,
yesterday you are telling that US Navy, they have some millions of enhancements.
right,
It is very hard to make a note of those enhancements, right? To document them all.
right.
This is where ABAP debugging will help you.
Okay,
Okay. ABAP debugging, what it does is, suppose say, what is the standard for a shipping point determination?
right, yeah. It is it's the name of the plant,
Plant, loading group and shipping condition.
shipping condition, and the loading group.
Three things. Okay.
Yeah,
But suppose say a customer has a requirement that shipping predetermination should be happened basing upon city also.
right.
Okay. Suppose say you will take a scenario of India.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In India 2014, Telangana new state has been formed. That is 29 state.
Right.
But this enhancement is done in somewhere around 2010 or 11.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they don't have Telangana in the SAP system now.
Right.
Okay. So when you are creating an order, what happens for the Telangana state system will throw an error. Why? Because we have configured in an enhancement that the shipping point determination should also be having city, the state.
Right.
But as a consultant, what you will do first, you will go to OVL2, like there you will check whether the configuration is correct or not.
Yeah.
You don't know that that enhancement is done, and you will check all the standards.
Right.
You will not come to know.
It's not visible from
No, no, you cannot see it
from
anywhere.
that in
No,
that config page, right?
no, it cannot be seen in anywhere. It can be only seen in the ABAP code.
Okay.
Okay. Here actually debugging helps. What we will do is we will go to sales order where we are getting exact error. We will type /h and we will do the debugging. There it will show the determination of shipping point is based on state also.
But how do you know where to put the breakpoints and all that?
That the debugging itself it will show. Why? Because see, we will get error, right, while creating a sales order.
Will you get an error? I mean, if it's working, then you won't get an error.
But Telangana state is not there, no, in the SAP system. So it will throw an error. It cannot determine the shipping point.
Oh, I see. I mean, okay, so you're saying
The example.
if you in the transaction if you have the error.
Yeah. Okay. If you see in 2000 today they are creating a delivery to order to Telangana state. Suppose say for Hyderabad.
Yes.
Okay. So as Telangana is not there, but shipping point should be based on state of on state. As this is missing, system cannot determine the shipping point.
Right.
So if you click on that error and you can /h the debugging process, there you will come to know that shipping point determination is bad, and they have done a piece of code there with enhancement.
Okay. Okay.
So the ABAC debugging will help you to do these things.
Yeah, we for what I think without debugging, what I have seen little bit is
Mhm.
that they put the breakpoints and breakpoints, at particular lines,
Yeah, yeah, yes,
right? To
yes,
check the variable values
yes.
and see like what is going wrong. But
Yeah, we will even do that also. We will check that also. With this, we would be checking more than any user exits in debugging. We
okay,
will have watch point, break points.
okay.
Okay. I'm showing you all these things. And
I think my confusion was how do you know which customer exit or user
no, no,
exit
we
to
cannot know
put
it.
the breakpoint in the first place.
No, no, we can't know it. First, we need to debugging, then only we will know it.
I see.
Debugging tells you where the error is going on. Then we will find out the user exit and we will talk to the ABAPer.
Okay.
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 So, and debugging will also help you to closely pass the parameters. Suppose say, it's not like we will be discussing these things later.
Yeah, okay. I don't want to disturb your flow.
No, yeah, that's what. And we will be deviating much from the subject actually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You can just please stop me if I'm
No,
deviating
no.
too
See, these
much.
are things. Why? Because I may not discuss this concept in the topic also.
Okay.
Because this is more kind of a discussion session. As much as we discuss, we will be remembering these things.
Right.
Okay. So coming to the transportation request, we will be having these requests, like we will be placing all the requests in a sequence in Excel file with a small description. We will send it to basis so that we will be transporting it to the next environment. Okay. Transport request meant like we will be having workbench and customizing requests as we already discussed. Okay. So this is the typical screen of this thing. Like we will have customized requests or transport or workbench requests. Okay. So after this thing, what we have to do is we will do testing. Okay, once the configuration is done, everything is done, we will do testing in the QA server. Now we are talking about the QA environment, quality and assurance environment, the second server. Okay.
Yeah.
See, we can do there will be testing, so two kind of testing, that is unit testing and integration testing. You know what they are actually, unit testing and integration testing. And I encourage you to have a good knowledge in test case preparation, because as much as ABAP debugging or these advanced concepts are important, even preparing a test case document is also that important.
Yeah, when I was in Navy, they asked me to make a functional test plan,
Okay.
which is a list of all the different test cases,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
then they have the functional test execution where they
Yeah. And see,
submit
also remember
answers
that,
like that.
yeah, The testers will be doing that, but we need to prepare a test case. Why? Because they don't know what to test, where to test, how to test, and what should be the expected result and these all things, right?
Right.
So as a consultant, we need to provide them. But remember that there is nothing standard here. Okay. So you prepare your model. Okay, and be confident with that model. And if in interview or somewhere they ask, you present your model. They cannot say that like no, it should be like this only. So be familiar with one thing. That is not only test case, or it can be anything. Over the SAP, for every topic or for everything, be prepared for one thing. Suppose say, now just we discussed about debugging. You just take this example, what I have told you, the shipping point determination is based upon the state also. A new state has come. Actually, this was an issue with one of my clients recently. That's why I have remembered this. The state is formed in 2014, right? So recently they have come up with this issue. So they have escalated me. So here I came to know this. So you make example of one example of for every topic, and be perfect with that. Why? Because if you tell one example, they will not ask another one, second one. Okay. So even with the test case, be prepared with like one test case or two test case. Suppose say if have you written any test case in your project? Yes. What are the test case? You just tell me for this requirement I have prepared a test case. Okay. So a typical test case document will be having these components, and these are must. Like what to test first of all, and how to test. That is the transaction codes VA01. These all things. But because tester don't know these all things. And what is the expected results? That means if I create a transaction, what should be the result? That is, it should deliver a order number. Okay. And if I create a delivery, it should create a picking list, packing list, everything. Okay. And what is
this is a very silly question.
No, please say. Any question is a matter. Please go ahead. Every question matters actually. That silly question can be a very big question for your interview. Okay. So go ahead. Okay. 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 Yes, very huge. Like, see. Yeah. That's what. We have seen here, right? Do you remember sizing? Here. After deciding how many servers, they will decide of the sizing. Pairing of the server. They discuss what should be the hard disk, what should be the RAM, and what should be the list of servers and PCs.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the amount it grows every
Yeah. Yes. But
But
now, see, but today like we have even multi-terabyte hard disks also, right? The storage is not a big problem, and that's the reason actually SAP is pushing to move to HANA instead of Oracle. So later on they want to bring all the modules onto HANA. Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
No, please. So the test case will be having expected results, what should be there, and what is the actual result, and what is the status. Does this test case has passed or not? Okay, and the tested document number. This would be components having typically, but they might have different change depending upon the company to company. Okay. So suppose say this is a sales order, an example. Okay. In the ERP, you can see here we have two arrows. This is one input and one is output. Okay. If you input something into SAP, what should be the output in creating sales order? Okay. Here you can see this is in, that is sales order. When I'm creating a new sales order. So after creating a sales order, what I can see the product info, the material, quantity, these all things.
Right.
When I create a delivery note for a sales order, so what happens? So we have in and out like this. What would be the inputs and what would be the outputs? So this is the process of a OTC process, like say creating a sales order, creating delivery, that should trigger the pick pack list and materials and shipping goods, everything. Then after it should create a billing. Okay.
Right.
Then after invoice, that is invoice, see here. Input, we will enter the payment data and we will get an output.
Right.
Okay. So they will give test case like this. This they will be written giving as a written format.
Right.
So I have taken a pictorial representative of this here. Okay, you can see here in goods issue date, if I enter this, system should tell like delivery note and sales order.
Right.
Okay, so here we do like create user manual data documents. Like as we earlier discussed, you remember that question, what are the documents you created in your implementation project?
Right.
It's a very important question for consultants. Okay. Earlier we have prepared two documents. One is BPP document
Right.
and gap analysis document.
Right.
That is two. This is three. User manual document.
Right.
Configuration document is 4 and functional specification document is 5.
Right.
Closely I remember we'll be creating 7 documents or something. Let me see if I have listed 7 or not. But closely I guess we will be preparing some 7 documents.
Right.
Okay, I have listed here 5 documents. So this is after completing the testing, what we will do is we will create a user manual document. This is where core user or end user will be working on. That all end user transactions would be mentioned in this user manual document. In the same way, we will create a configuration document. Yesterday I have shown you a lot of configuration documents. I'll show you. See, this is an user manual document. Okay, user manual document, we will create it and we will submit to those guys, and we will have who has prepared that, what is his designation, what is his signature, something like this. The typical performer would be look like this, and it will have a table of contents. Suppose say customer master, we will list out key code, path and screenshots. See, the transaction code is this and the menu path is this to create a customer. Okay, if I enter into that, I'll get this screen. So we will explain them like what each every and field is, important fields. Okay. Then after what they need to click. This is user manual document where end users will be working on. Okay. And the same time we also prepare configuration documents. Config docs. So yesterday I have shown you a lot of configuration documents. Okay. So here what we will do is what all configurations we have done, we will list in this configuration documents. This helps in KT process. Suppose say implementation project is done, and see, there is no necessity that a company will stick to that company itself after implementation. They may hand over the support project to someone else. Okay. So those guys should know what all implementations they have done, what configurations they have done and everything. So in configuration document, we will make all the screenshots and what all we do, and configuration document will be used in KT process, and we will hand over these documents to the core users. And sometimes you may be getting a question in interview saying that how many end users you have in your company, that the company for which you implemented, suppose say Galaxy Pharma. So what the answer you will be giving for that?
How many end users are there?
Yes.
Like maybe, I don't know, like 200.
Yeah. So we will not know how many end users would be there, but we can say some rough figures of 300 or 400 or something. That's it. Okay. We should not say like, okay, I know there are 500 exactly. Okay. So like we will prepare some functional specification documents for enhancements, which the scope document we already listed, which should be covered and which not be covered in this implementation project.
Right.
Okay. So those of things we will discuss here in functional specifications. Okay. Then after we will move to final preparation after the realization phase. In general, what happens is consultant will involve either in blueprint phase or realization phase. They will not involve in project preparation in the sense, say, getting into a new project. Suppose say in interview they may ask like in which phase of implementation project you involved as a consultant.
Right.
Suppose say you have very good experience, you really worked in implementation project and you have 5 years of some experience.
Right.
You can say I involved in blueprint. Well, because there we will be collecting all this data and because fire consultants will definitely have and should be involved in this phase and they need to prepare the documents, BBP and this all things. If you say, if you claim 5 years and I don't prepare a BBP document, means they itself they will not come to know. Okay. So, and if you are having a little experience like say 3 years or less than 4 years and you are not comfortable or you don't have that experience to demonstrate what you do in BBP phase, then you can say that I involved in realization phase in my implementation project. Okay. So that in realization phase what we will do, we will only do configurations. Whatever we list out in the BBP, we will do the configurations. So it would be very easy for you to manage in your interviews.
I have been in just, I may say anything on my resume, but between you and me, I have been involved in one blueprinting project,
Okay.
which was not even OSD, it was URI.
Okay. Okay. So but now see.
But
Okay.
I
Okay.
was told as they were using that opportunity to make some new SD processes, new ERP processes.
Mm-hmm.
And I sat in on that for 2 months.
Okay.
And by the way, which SAIL company are you talking about? SAIL?
No. I will SMS that to you. Like I'll send a message to you.
Oh, okay, but not Steel Authority of India.
No. No. That's not that.
Okay.
Actually,
But
because certain
yeah,
companies I cannot take name here.
sure, I understand. Yeah.
So I will send the name to you and I will even send the BPP also. That was a very huge project.
Okay. No, I was just guessing because that's a large company, so I was just guessing.
No. It is a government company, a Navratna company.
Okay.
I will send an email to you later after finishing this class.
Sure.
Okay.
The other thing was that
Yeah.
you see, the thing is that I did a rollout project,
Okay.
which is not exactly an implementation, but they were rolling out SAP onto some additional plants, some
Okay.
bioethanol plants.
Okay. So plant rollout.
Plant rollout, yeah. So it's like a mini implementation
Yes.
actually.
Yes. See, you remember one thing. Whatever you mention in your resume, that is up to you. That is in the sense, say, suppose say you don't have you involved in cement industry implementation or you don't implement involved in cement industry implementation. Okay.
Yeah.
You need not to say that you implemented in cement industry. In the simultaneous, the same time, there will be some other project also going in your company, right?
Right.
You mention that project. You need not mention the project you worked on.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why? Because see, cement project is very tougher actually. Why? Because in pricing they will be having a reverse pricing. You heard about reverse pricing?
No, I don't know that.
In cement and apparel industries have done thing like they will be using reverse pricing. Like suppose say in pricing generally what we do, we'll go with base price, then after discounts, freight, everything, tax, and come to conclusion of the final price, right?
Right.
In cement industry, how what happens? So this comes in the reverse. They will say as per cement bag it is 200 rupees. So system should calculate in reverse tax, then after freight, then after discounts, then after base price in this way.
Oh, okay.
Because the price is not fixed, the price would be fluctuating every week, 2 days, 3 days or something. So
Okay.
we cannot maintain one base price and we will say this is a final price.
I see.
Okay, so what they will do is they will tell one figure that is 200 or 300 per bag. We will configure that in that way, and whenever we enter that price into the system will calculate in a reverse manner.
I see.
So it is little tough for you to demonstrate in the interview also. So I don't encourage to go with cement industry implementation if you do also. Okay, so it is not necessary that you need to put only this project. It can be any project from your company which is involved at that time, which is very comfortable for you. It can be a pharmaceutical, why? Because pharmaceutical is very quite easy to demonstrate. And lot of SAP install base is in pharmacy, the pharma companies. Okay, so you can put one or two pharma companies, and as your experience, make sure that you dominate in some area of business. Like you can say like I'm good at pharma implementations, or I'm good at steel industry implementations, like this. Okay, but because they might be preferring you than others. You have done two implementations in pharma, and a pharma company is looking for a guy. They will be choosing you than others. Well, because you already have a two implementation experience. Okay. So resume, we will discuss. We will sit and discuss, and we will make it quite easy for you how your resume should be.
I'll send you what I have now.
I guess you already sent me. Is that the final, or you have any other copy?
I don't have Facebook today. I'll send you the new.
Okay, you send it. We will see like what best projects you can keep, and what would be the skill set, what would be the project roles and responsibilities. Okay. So that's the. So in as I told you, like consultant would be involved in this. We can say if they ask in the interview in which phase of implementation project you involved, we can say these two. But we cannot say final preparation or project preparation.
Right.
Why? Because no company will hire a guy for a final preparation phase. Everything is done here.
What is final preparation again?
If anything is left out which we did not cover here, or any new integration which we need to do, like this is nothing but make sure of this phase. Okay, so without involving in this phase, you will not understand anything in this phase. So no companies will hire you in this phase. Okay, so these are the silly mistakes which consultants do when they go to interview. Okay, so final preparation we will have unit testing, integration testing, user testing, like core user will test all the scenarios. Okay, here we will have a cutover strategy. This is very important. Like we can in interview they may ask you like what is your cutover strategy. Okay, did you involve in the cutover strategy discussion?
Little bit. Like you mean the business consultant?
Yes, yes.
There was this. Apparently they use some LSMW.
Yeah, there is LSMW, BDC, BAPI. Batch data communication is BDC or BAPI.
Let me tell you my understanding. Then you can correct me.
Yeah, yeah.
They take the legacy data and they map it to the SAP server,
Yes.
and then they run the
LSMW.
LSMW.
Hmm.
And then normally like 90% of the records are rejected.
Yeah, like there will be only one. In LSMW there will be 11 stages. Only one stage we will get an error. Like even they will ask you in an interview the question like, did you face any error while in LSMW? Well, because you get an error, you will be getting error in only in that step. So to make, yeah, so to make sure you really worked, they may ask this question like say, in which step of LSMW you faced an error, or you faced any error in LSMW. If you say no, you may be a Superman. Why? Because any guy will get an error. Nothing will go in one single step.
And now mostly what is the reason for the error?
Like we need to give fields, but what we will ask our user is we will ask him to give the dummy text like with the fields and these all things. He may do some mistake, a spelling mistake. That may be a problem. There will be lot of issues. We'll also discuss those things. But most of the companies prefer BAPI than LSMW or BDC. For that actually we need ABAP's intervention.
Okay.
That is more sophisticated way of you transferring the data.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the cutoff strategy we will discuss, like when to transfer, what data to be transferred first. Why? Because see, there is a strategy in transferring the data.
Right.
Okay, they will not transfer first material master data. Why? Because I have material master data in system, in go live system, but I don't have open transactions. What I will do?
Right.
First I need to have open transaction, then I have material, then with reference to that open transaction I can deliver this material.
Right.
Okay, so there is a strategy. In this cutoff strategy we will
What
discuss.
what comes first? What comes first? Material master or the transaction?
Just a minute, I will let you know. I have make a note of it actually because I cannot remember it. Like actually first they would no, first they would be going with FI module at any time.
Okay.
FI, then MM, then SD, I guess.
Right. Okay.
Okay. I have made a note of this somewhere, but I cannot get it. Okay. Well, because even they will ask this question also in your interviews. Yeah. See, the sequence what they will go with is the first is MM module wise.
So,
The next is PP. The next is FI, and the next is SD. I'll put it here.
SD is the last.
SD is the last, and there is a reason also for this actually. First would be first would be MM, and second would be PP, and third would be FI, and fourth would be SD. Okay. So why they do it? And see, this is module-wise implementation, like passing the configurations in all the things. Coming to data-wise, what they will do is, this is module-wise. First they will transport MM configurations first, then PP, then FI, and then SD.
Okay.
Okay. Coming to the data-wise, as we discussed LSMW, first would be first would be open inquiries. Okay, and second would be open quotations. Third would be open orders, and fourth would be new open contracts. Okay, so they will be going in this sequence. Why? Because open orders, that is orders, we have created already order in the legacy system.
Right.
Okay, so we will do delivery. This may not be high priority for us as of now, but this is a new business, right? Inquiry and quotations.
Right.
Inquiries and quotations are new business. We need to immediately get in touch with this. If not, competitor will take out. Okay.
Oh, I see.
Well, because see, if we make a delay in sending any open inquiries or any quotations, so we may lose the business.
Right.
Okay, so first they will be going with inquiry. Why? Because order, it is for our customer, and he can wait for one day, or as the order is there, we can deliver it. In contracts we already created in system, so this may not be as very important, but these two are very important for the business.
Okay.
So they would be going with this sequence. And coming to module wise, they would be going MM, PP, FI, and SD.
Right.
Okay. So
Yeah, you understand your point. I was asking from a data industry point of view. Like you have, if you don't have master data, how can you make any transaction, right?
yes, let's
Right.
see. This in
That's
typical,
data dependency, right?
yeah, in typical actually this LSMW data, BDC data will take 2 days time. Okay. So what happens is, whenever in the cutoff strategy we will plan when to transfer data and what is the thing. Most of the things will be started at Saturday midnight 12. Why? Because
Right.
we will have Sunday, most of the plants are shut, they will not be working, users and everyone.
Yeah.
Or we will ask Saturday, the Sunday, or till afternoon of the Monday. We will ask the company to shut all its transactions in this time because of the
Right.
data consistency, as you are telling data dependency. Okay, so in these 12 hours or 24 hours, company will not function, will not create any order, any query, any nothing, no invoice. Okay.
Right.
So only after when we say go ahead and everything data is perfect, then they will start creating transactions. Okay. In the cutoff strategy, this is what they plan actually, when to transfer and what data to transfer, and what all process should be shut in the company's prospective view in this process time.
Okay.
Okay. These all things they will be discussing in cutover strategy. Okay, legacy system will be migrated to SAP system here. Okay, then here again we'll take one another sign off. Okay,
Right.
see here for unit testing will take, integration testing will take, user training, cutover, every process will take a sign off.
Yeah, it seems like a lot, Ravi. You know, getting the job is one thing, but
That's what,
keeping the job is another big thing.
see, that's what I told you. Preparing for SAP is different from preparing for a job. Preparing
Right.
for, see, you are for, if you are learning SAP means you are learning only SAP, what is their configurations and these all things. That's it. But
Yeah.
the real acid test for you will be in these things. Why? Because
Right.
if you don't know something in SAP, I can go open the transaction screen and I can find out what it is.
Yeah.
But no one will share this knowledge, or you cannot get this anywhere again back.
Right.
So getting a job, but see, you are seeing these many things, but when you get into job, it will become very easy for you. Why? Because you will not be involving in all these things. Out of this,
Yeah. No, the thing is that for me it was very overwhelming because
mhm.
that's why I had asked you about answer code support,
Okay.
and I think I can pay you quite well
Actually,
based
see,
on
I
my
do, no, no,
experience.
I do actually even job support process also. I have a process of that also.
Okay.
Per month I charge $400 for on job support, and I solve 12 tickets.
I see.
I
Okay.
have that process on job support process.
Okay.
Okay. So if not, like, see, if I may not provide, I will use, I have some, there are some agencies who do on job supports, they only do on job support, and they have a team
But
of 20 to 30
how do
people.
they keep the how do they keep the confidentiality?
No, see, that's what, see, they are team of consultants like me or you. They'll form
Uh,
they form a team and they provide this service, one job support. But because every time one guy cannot respond immediately, so if one guy is not available, other guy will be handling that and solving your issue.
so my concern would be
Mm-hmm.
there's something like it's like a
Yeah,
confidentiality
yeah.
factor, right?
See,
Like
here what happens is you need to trust.
it's
There is no
huh?
option for us. We need to trust.
Yeah, like I would be comfortable trusting one person,
Yeah, yeah. So that's
and because
uh,
I have I know you a little bit, I would be comfortable trusting you.
yeah.
But I don't want my employer to know that
Yeah,
I'm
see,
taking someone's
not
job,
only
right?
employer, that would be a very big risk which you are going to take in your job.
Right. So it would be have to be completely something that you it would be as if I am running SAP on the system and you are just viewing my screen,
Yes. So what
right?
most of the time what we will do is I myself connect to Dreamweaver.
Okay.
I connect to Dreamweaver and I'll show them how to do something, or if not, I'll take a screenshot and I'll pass on the screenshots to them how to do. If
Yeah,
I,
but you need to have access to the client system, right?
I will be showing you in the demo system, in this IRIS. The same thing you need to configure in your system there, client system.
No, but let's say that it's a support project.
Okay.
Okay, and like for example, this interview that I have coming
Mhm.
up.
Mm-hmm.
and several kinds of glue and bugs, right?
Okay.
So if I want your help,
Mm-hmm.
what is the practical way of improving that?
First thing is, first, like you need to make me understand the business process or your client. That
Right,
is,
but I myself don't understand. That's what I'm
that.
just saying.
But see, that's the first thing actually. Why? Because as much as you understand, you need to share that knowledge with me or any other person who is doing the on-job support for you.
Yeah, but
Why? Because
I understand.
yeah.
I'll be trying my best,
Okay.
obviously.
Okay.
But the thing is, like, will it be possible for you uh, to view my screen?
No, I guess. Like I can view through TeamViewer. That might not be a problem, but I don't encourage that. Why? Because already we are doing some mistake. That is taking on-job support or something.
Right.
You should not get in very deep into that. Okay.
Okay, you mean
Like you should
okay,
not give access to
explore that
some.
too much.
Yeah, don't jump that into that too much. Like don't make the risk most complicated. Okay.
Okay.
Let it be simple. Risk, you are taking a risk, but keep that risk as simple.
Okay, so you're saying like you will be like a consultant for me.
Yeah, it's like a consultant for you. Let's say what I'll do is if you transfer like the knowledge, what the business process and what exactly thing you are looking. I might be doing that configuration in my system and the same thing. I may record it or I can take the screenshots and send it to you. Okay. But
Okay, you may have some follow-up question and I can look in the system and
yeah, yeah,
make
sure.
sure
You
that
can see that here. But like logging into or going into the client system, why? Because see, most probably you will be having your company laptops.
right.
Okay, so don't take that kind of risk.
Yeah, that's too much, I guess. If it's my laptop, it's okay, right?
Yeah, yeah, your laptop it's okay, but logging into the company's laptop. Well, because see, SAP is SAP either in the client's place or in the real this demoed system. The same it would be.
Yeah.
Okay, the fields and everything. So you can easily understand.
Okay.
Okay. So
Alright.
okay, that's one thing. And see, in final preparation, again we take throughout the implementation project we take two sign-offs from core user. That is one BPP and one is UAT testing. Okay, and quality.
Right.
Quality to then after our QA, what we'll do is we will move all the data to production. That is a live environment, all the configurations. Okay. In cutover activity, we will upload the data from legacy to non-legacy system. Okay. So
Right.
they will be asking you in interview a question, or you should at least know what is the role of your as a consultant in cutover activities.
Right.
Okay. So in cutover activity, what we do as a consultant is we list out all the master data and what all the open transaction data that which is there in the legacy system.
Right.
The master data is like a pricing condition master, it can be a customer master or whatever it is, or any open orders. Open orders means the order which is created in the legacy system but it's still pending delivery.
Okay.
See, some companies might be what they are doing is they may not be neglecting the legacy system outright. Well, because it is also an ERP, they have bought it with huge money and
Right.
they have been using since last 5 years or 10 years and all the users are very well versed with that system.
Right.
So they may not discontinue using that system immediately. So sometimes what they will do is they will take orders in legacy system and they will do delivery and invoicing process in SAP system.
Okay.
Okay. So they will communicate these two systems with EDI or ALE.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Okay.
There comes EDI actually within the company.
I see. Okay. So they will keep the order in the legacy
Yeah.
and just
But
do the
because see,
delivery and
they would be spending some millions from last 5 years or 10 years. They would be doing enhancements, upgrades, right? They have paid a lot to that application.
right.
So outright, as we are implementing SAP, I cannot neglect it outright. But because end users may not be comfortable working in SAP immediately.
Right.
So they will not discontinue this legacy system outright. They will be using for 6 months or something. Okay, so some companies they will take orders, or they will take only inquiries in legacy, and rest of the process they will do in SAP. There is a practice like this.
Right.
Okay, so this one thing. So, and we do recordings, that is the LSMW. Okay, with the T code SHD0 we do all the recordings with the help of adapter. We create a BDC and we do all the things, and we run a mock run. Like whether, like we first upload one or two master data, and we see the consistency. If everything is okay, then we will upload every data.
Okay.
Okay, but this is where the pre-production server comes actually, to make sure the data consistency. Okay, in cutoff strategy we will be discussing like how to upload the data, and whether we need to discontinue the system immediately, the legacy system, or we need to continue it for some more time. So, and what is the reason to avoid the data inconsistency, like what best practices we can follow. SAP is nothing but best practices, right?
Right.
So we will do all these things, and cutover activity generally takes 2 days time to upload the complete data. Okay. So after finishing this, we move on to the next phase, that is the go live phase and support phase. See, every company, any implementation will come with support. If it is implementation is for 6 months, it will have 3 months implementation support. If it is 12 months, it will have 6 months of support. Okay. So whenever you go to interview, if they ask you like what is the project tenure, tell it as 9 months, don't tell it as 6 months. And if it's an MNC, tell it as 18 months, don't tell it as 12 months. Okay. And one more thing you need to remember is, you maintain your periods in the resume, like say earlier company, the dates, right? You worked and you resigned that company and joining the new date, your relieving date and this date in 2 companies. You include this thing. Never say that after implementation I get out of this company and joined a new company. I am involved in the total project life cycle, that is 6 plus 3 months. After 3 months, that is total 9 months, I have come out of this company and I am joining in your company as new. Why? Because that means you are leaving this project in half. You are the guy who involved in implementation, so in this support phase you will know the things, implications, what all will be coming up. Okay. So never say that you came out of 6 months or 12 months. You include this complete thing. Say 18 months or 19. My project is on air now, and the post-production support is also finished. So I have come out now. Okay. So this is one very important thing you need to mention when you are mentioning your dates. Okay. So we will go live support. There it will be having a help desk where users can reach on if they have any issue, and we will be monitoring the implication of the system performance also, how much time is sales order is taking, whether is there any chance like we can get down the time in creating a sales order. Okay, so a lot of things we will take care here, optimize performance, optimization and everything. Okay, so here we finish off complete SAP methodology, that is implementation project has been implemented. Okay. So you will be seeing lot of questions in your implementation project, but because suppose with your experience, if you are going to interview, they may not be asking what is the document type for sales or cash sales or rush order. Well, because that's there in SAP and you worked over your 6 years, and that means you will know that. But what they will ask you is more of your project experience. Okay. As we discussed, what is your team size? Did you attended your kickoff meeting? Okay. Where is your client located? Did you remember where is your client located?
Yeah, one was in Kolkata and one was in Delhi.
That's the mistake you do. Client is nothing but SAP client. It is located in development server.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason. That is the reason I discussed this question and this topic actually. Why? Because here implementer want to test your presence of mind. After working of 6 years, how can you expect like interviewer ask you that question, right? So
Right.
here what they will test is they'll test your presence of mind and they'll test you whether you really worked in environment or not. If you really worked in that environment, you know the server, what is a client, and in that server what all the clients are present.
Right.
Okay. So see the first question itself, you made a mistake.
Okay.
So where is your client located is it's in the development server you need to say that is configuration client. If they ask like can you draw the organization structure of your client, okay, yes, what is the organization structure that is in that enterprise structure in the organization. This is the enterprise structure, right? Company core, sales, organization, distribution, division, offices, plant, store location. You should say yes, I can draw. Okay, they don't expect you to draw anyway. Okay, but at least you need to know. Here they may expect you like suppose say to what you assign shipping point. So we assign shipping point to plant, right? So they expect this thing there if they ask that question, but they don't expect you to draw, give a paper and draw these all things. You need to have a logical understanding of that. Okay, like in the same way, like what do you do in the first day of your implementation project? What is your project tenure? On what basis you gather requirements? So on what basis you gather requirements? These are all questions we already discussed now, right? So on what basis? Yes. Yes, then yes, but then on what basis you will gather it? No, we have a database, right? Question and answers database. Yes, on that questionnaire database we collect the requirements. Okay, on what basis we gather the requirements? See, why I want you to be familiar with this question is, suppose say in typical any interview, if a interviewer asks you a question, you may take at least 5 seconds to respond to that question, right? You cannot respond immediately. Suppose say, if you are prepared with this question, what is your team size? That means you can respond to your interview within 2 or 3 seconds. That gives a good impression. Okay, because you are not looking into the air or some left side or right side and thinking of the answer. Because after working for 6 years and your team, you will have a team lunch, you will have a lot of things. Then you should know what is your team size and these things. Okay. So see, and this may difference you from other consultant. Why? Because you are prepared with these questions and those guys may or may not be prepared with these questions. So you are giving much impression than others. And you know what is kickoff meeting. See, you know kickoff meeting, I know kickoff meeting. Other guy also know the kickoff meeting. But they may not know what is the agenda in a kickoff meeting. So we discussed some 6 or 7 agendas what we have in kickoff meeting. Okay, so if you are be prepared with this question, you will tell all that very clearly. That means you really worked in that project. So, see, you may get or may not get this question, but you are prepared this question. That means you are eliminating some risk. Okay, so see, with this kind of preparation, what happens is you will be getting a job within 2 or 3 interviews. You may not attend 5 or 5 interviews over 2 months or 3 months. Within 15 days or 1 month, within 2 interviews, you will get a job. And I can guarantee you that you will have 2 offer letters in your hand. You will be selecting in 2 companies. Most of my trainees who has gone to interview, they have come up with 2 offer letters over a period of 15 days or 1 month. Okay. So even I expect the same with you also. Why? Because you are going prepared with 1000 questions. That means if any question comes out of that 1000 question, you are ready to answer. Only thing left is some other questions which come. Then and there that depends upon your presence of mind and spontaneously need to answer for that questions. But most of the possibility questions are there here. See this. From which phase of SAP methodology you involve in your implementation project. So you need not to confuse there whether I need to say BBP phase or realization phase. Okay, you already prepared for this question. Okay, So we have these questions. We will discuss like what you can do is you can take this as an exercise and you try to prepare answers for this. Yes, we already have this. I will be sending the recording also so that you can see. And one more thing, after you make habit of this kind of learning, we will be finishing the training. I will upload the video and I will send the private link to you. See, as it is a night for you in the US, whenever you get up in the morning, I want you to watch this video 2 times. Okay, your session is 3 hours, right? So it may not be possible for you to watch 2 times. But because I tell to every candidate, watch this video 2 times. Their sessions are 1.5 hour sessions actually. Okay. So why? Because everything is covered in the video itself. You need not to go back again and read some material. I am discussing the screen, I am discussing the field, and we are having some extra discussions also. We discussed a lot of things in this session now. We discussed about LSMW. Out of the subject also we have discussed something. Everything is there in video. So if you watch the video, first you will make yourself very much comfortable and you will not feel new when you go back to reading.
Okay.
So first start your day with reading, watching the video, then reading something.
Right.
After finishing the video, if you are not familiar with something, again go back, rewind it and watch again. Okay? And then after start reading, take a book or take my material, whatever it is, you take that and you read it.
Right.
This way, why? Because see, we are running in very tight schedule. You may not get a chance to look back again for certain topic.
Okay. I understand. Yes.
Okay, so you may not get a time, but because say master data, it's a big topic. Again, you may not go back and see all the fields or something.
Yeah.
So in this method, what you can make sure is you finish your preparation once. That's it.